So here are my predictions for Survivor Series Wargames 2024, which is happening at least here in India on Sunday. And let's get right into it. The first match, LA Knight versus Shinsuke Nakamura. In my opinion, the match should not have happened here. It needed much more build. It would have been better to have this match at Saturday night's main event, which is anyways happening on December 14th. It would have gotten more build because right now it's just that Shinsuke came back like in his Star Wars sex robe, having that Evanescence makeup and just beat up LA Knight two times in 2 weeks and had like an anime promo, just that, and he gets a title shot for that. While Andrade and Carmelo had to go through like a best of seven series to like get a match against uh, you know LA United Crown Jewel in a triple threat. Even before that, on SmackDown, like they had to beat each other at least once to get a single shot against LA Knight. Like Santos Escobar had to you know, win a number one contenders match to get his first match against LA Knight. Then the other two matches were basically open challenges. But thing is, my problem with this is they clearly have a lack of depth in the mid card section of of SmackDown. So they brought back Shinsuke from his surfing activities, you know, and they're having him face LA Knight. I think they probably want this feud to go for a few months more, at least till Saturday Night's Night main event, or maybe even Royal Rumble. So a screwy finish has to happen. Either Shinsuke DQs LA, either LA in desperation uses some object to defeat Shinsuke Nakamura. Like something screwy has to happen because if you look and if you listen to Shinsuke's promos, they're trying to convey that LA, the things that he does, the way he is because he's desperate, he's scared of losing the title. So something, screwy has to happen at Survivor Series. The only problem is I would have had the either the War Raiders versus Judgment Day here, the tag title match, or the MCMG DIY Street Profits tag team match here. Because at least the War Raiders won a tournament, they would have had like a good match. Anyways, they would have lost by interference, which they lost at Monday against the Judgment Day. And the MCMG tag titles, they actually have a rivalry, they actually have stories between them to warrant a match at the pay-per-view. Anyways, the tag titles have not been on pay-per-view since WrestleMania, and I don't think LA has improved a lot, but he's not that good of a wrestler to carry 2024 Shinsuke Nakamura to a good pay-per-view match. I mean, he was not able to, Seth Rollins was not able to get a good match out of Shinsuke Nakamura. And they fought for the world title. One time in the main event also. Even Cody, he couldn't get a good match out of Shinsuke. I mean, Shinsuke is lucky that he goes away for months and then he comes back and gets a pay per view match out of nowhere essentially, because in the Triple H era, anyways, they only have 5 matches on pay per views. AEW does like 15 matches, and Triple H does like 5 matches, and we need like a balance between the two. But that doesn't happen. Anyways, I think anyway, whatever happens is I don't think LA is losing the United States Championship. Like that doesn't happen because even if he loses it, I don't see Shinsuke being like a long term champion, anyways. And right now, I don't think anyone is that over on the SmackDown roster to, become the champion. You can build people up, like people like Andrade, like who has probably along with Carmelo carried SmackDown on his back, during the last months of Fox when Triple H didn't care that much about the product on SmackDown until Roman came back. So you can have, you can build Andrade and have him beat LA at Royal Rumble, I think, but right now is not the time to take the title of LA. Like he won at SummerSlam. The point is that he wants to be a fighting champion, and I think you need to keep that. Now moving to the second match, that is Braun Breaker versus Kaiser versus Sheamus in a triple threat. This is the match that I'm most excited about, like, probably in ring wise, along with the women's war games match, the most, because the chemistry that we have seen in the singles matches that they have had, respectively, either Sheamus versus Kaiser or Sheamus versus Braun, like they have great chemistry. Even their brawl on Monday was great. I mean, and I think it makes sense for them to have this match. You can say it's kind of like put together in the last minute because it's been just like what 2 weeks, and Braun and Sheamus had an intercontinental match because of WWE Speed, which is on Twitter. But I think this is a good thing. Good thing because it will protect Sheamus also, because Kaiser is probably going to take the pin, and I think this will further the story. Two stories essentially. That is that Sheamus once again in his quest to become Grand Slam champion again loses a shot at the Intercontinental Championship. Kaiser, which went after Braun and Sheamus, last week, it is because he wants to prove to Gunther that he's his own man. Gunther wants him to prove that he's his own man. So I think storyline wise, this makes sense. Probably Kaiser is taking the pin from Braun. Braun is retaining. Like, no way Braun can lose. I have seen people say that they can hotshot the title. You're not having 660 days of Gunther as Intercontinental Champion. I mean, why does it have to be extreme? Like, Braun should hold the title till Mania. Then he should lose it at Mania. But right now, you know he won the title at SummerSlam. He was fast tracked because he got two over. Like, he probably had one of the best squash matches I have seen in a while. Like, I will probably put it on Insta, and you will realize why that is. And then he won the title at SummerSlam. He defended it once against Sammy in a 2 out of 3 falls. Then they had a championship tournament, and then they made Jay the champion because you had to have Jay get his moment, because he broke out of the bloodline because he wanted to be something by himself, and you had to give him the title, which I understand. But then it was more about the moment than the title reign, and Jay lost the title back to Braun Breaker, and Braun Breaker anyways retained it by Jacob Fatu interference and won it back, and he was not on TV for a few weeks, and now he finally gets into a program which is anyways a very you know last minute put together program, and you want him to lose again. Like, people criticize Triple H because Sami Zayn beat him at Money in the Bank. But he at least, in storyline ways, they gave a reason that Braun is young, he's brash, he took Sami easily. That's because that's the reason he lost. And he didn't make the same mistakes at SummerSlam again. The same way he took Jey Uso, not seriously, and he didn't make the same mistakes the second time. Hear him losing, I think it just hampers him a lot, and it does nothing for the Intercontinental Championship. It does nothing for the Intercontinental Championship at all. Like, Kaiser should win the championship, you know, where you built him up, you have a storyline reason. You know, you bring him up to a level where you're like, yeah, he's ready to be Intercontinental Champion. Sheamus getting his moment here after losing so many times his chance at the Intercontinental Championship. It will be like a lackluster end to which should be which should culminate in a great moment, probably at Mania or probably at one of those Clash at the Castle events that they do. So I don't think it will make sense for anyone but Braun to retain. So I have Braun to retain the Intercontinental Championship. Then the next match is the women's Wargames match. Though I think story wise, the past few weeks they have really, saved this match, because otherwise it's a very, put together match, which I thought and everyone thought was put together, very hastily. They combined basically the Raw and SmackDown feuds together because Rhea Ripley was injured, but she just returned 2 weeks back and she's in the War Games. So it was like, why did you do it? Why did you, mixed it up? Anyways, it doesn't make sense. But I think with Jade getting packed up last week, I mean, it was very funny. Like I posted it on Insta, the way that she was just laying there, it was very funny. And with the reports coming that she's probably out for 3 months, like I think people are thinking that this is Bailey, but I think it's probably in they can have it be Charlotte, because remember when Jade came in, she confronted Charlotte and all. They have history. You can do it later rather than have Bailey, or it can be Naomi, because I think in the future Naomi is going to turn heel on Bailey. Anyways, I think we are going to have the heels win, because there has been a lot of the heels losing. Like Nia Jax just lost to Bianca on Raw. Like Liv gets beat up by Rhea almost every week. Like the faces have had the advantage, I think, overall, if you look at the whole picture. And I think the heels winning will probably help them, because I think Rhea probably at the Saturday night's main event, or at the Netflix premiere, is going to beat Liv for the women's championship. I think that's going to happen. Like it's not going to be like going till Mania, and no, it's probably going to be Rhea versus Io at Mania, or if Jade doesn't get cleared, maybe a triple threat: Rhea versus Io versus Bianca at Mania for the women's championship. I think you may have Tiffany finally cash in here. I think it is a unique scenario. Also, the first time in history that a women's Money in the Bank holder has hold the title for more than like one day. I think except Carmella, she held it for a while. And I think it's a unique scenario. I mean, Damon Priest tried to do it last year, have it, cash it in between the War Games match, but I don't think we're gonna have it between the War Games match. Probably the heels win, and then after the match, Tiffany cashes in on Nia, and then you move on from there. I think what I'm really looking forward, I think the in-ring action is going to be awesome. I mean, Io is going to do another one of her garbage can spots. Rhea is going to be Rhea. I think this match is especially important for Candice, because she's finally gotten back after becoming the speed champion. They are finally bringing her back, making her a permanent part of TV. She's probably going to be Naya's new lackey after Tiffany turns on her anyway, and we know what she can do in ring wise. Be it in NXT, be it on Indies, she has proven herself. She has to do it in ring wise. I hope when they rehearse the match, they give Candice her breakout spots like they did for Tiffany in the Elimination Chamber last year in Australia. They have to do it for Candice. I think it will be nice seeing the character dynamics between Bianca and Bailey. because of the history they have. Very interesting to see that the dynamics between EO and Bailey. I mean, because of what they went through at WrestleMania. And I think probably Naomi and Bailey too, because I think it has to be, them losing, and some part of it has to involve, Naomi thinking it's Bailey's fault or something, because I think they're going to further that story, and probably Naomi is going to turn heel in the future on Bailey. So I think that's what's going to happen. The heels are going to win. My prediction is the heels are going to win. Team Team Liv is going to win, with Tiffany probably cashing in after the match on Naya. Then the next match is the men's Wargames match. The No, not the men's Wargame. That Gunther versus Damien Priest. I think this is a very predictable match. Gunther is going to win. Looking at the SummerSlam match, I I'm hoping they have, you know as great as match that they had at SummerSlam, probably better than that. And I have liked the story that they have been telling with Gunther. Like, people think it's just because of the Cody loss, but no, it's more than that. Like, Gunther has been going through his low phase, him not feeling, as the dominant Gunther for a while. And you can look at it with the Sami Zayn feud. Like, like on the story that they told was essentially that Gunther was being arrogant. He said that Sammy is a bum. He doesn't deserve to win that. He doesn't deserve to face him for the title and all that. But they had Sammy, the babyface, say it was because Sammy was the only one on the main roster that had defeated Gunther. That is, he defeated him at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental Championship, and you had seen Gunther denying the shot to Sami Zayn for weeks and weeks and weeks, and then he agreed, and they faced at the Raw after Bad Blood. And even in that match, you can see Gunther did everything, and that one kick out, which was special, I think. And you can see the desperateness in his eyes. You can see how desperate he was, and he straight away went to the choke, and then he won. And you can see the relief in his face. And and that is where the seeds were, sown, that Gunther is not as confident as he thinks he is. And you saw it in his fight with Cody also. He was super overconfident, got better of Cody on the mic. But and the story of their match essentially was that Gunther wanted to make Cody tap out to the sleeper, and that's what he went back to over and over and over and over again in the match, which cost him the match, because Cody turned the sleeper into a roll up and won the match by a whisker. So, which finally, you know that was the final straw on the camel's back, which killed his confidence. And that's what you've been seeing with his feud with Damien Priest. That Damien Priest, he's on a high because he and the Terror Twins essentially defeated Finn Balor and the Judgment Day for months. Then he got his revenge against Finn Balor at Bad Blood, and then he may have lost to Dominic Mysterio, but he won the Fatal 4-Way by beating Dominic Mysterio. And that's what, and I think that's a pretty, it's not something special, but the story has layers. The story has layers. And Damien Priest, I think probably Finn is going to interfere again in this match. They're gonna have Finn interfere, because I don't think that's done there. And you saw it with the promo that Finn did after their match at Bad Blood, that it isn't over, that Finn is never going to let Damien Priest win the world title, the title he hasn't won after 2016. So I think Finn will interfere, but what I will personally have him do, have Finn interfere, but that doesn't cost Damien the match. Damien still bounces back. Gunther is surprised. They go another 5 minutes, another 5 minutes of fury, and then Gunther eventually, rolls him up or something and wins. You don't give Gunther a dominant win. You give him a fluke win. Like he rolls up and wins. You know, if first advantage, it doesn't have the same repeated finish. Finn interferes, Gunther wins. It adds something new. That Finn interferes, he's still Damon goes on. We get another 5 minutes of fury, 5 minutes of sequences, and Gunther wins at last, but with a fluke roll-up. And I think that's how you go forward with Gunther. Damien then can go with Finn, and they can actually have another layer in the feud that Finn can say, Damien will go after Finn being angry. You cost me the match. Why did you interfere? Finn can be like, I interfered, but you didn't lose because of me. You lost because Gunther was more smarter than you or anything. And you can do something with Gunther and Punk probably going forward. So my prediction is Gunther wins, not in a dominant way against Priest, and retains the World Heavyweight Championship. And the last match of the show, which is the men's War Games, the OG Bloodline versus the new Bloodline. Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, the Tongan brothers, and Bronson Reed versus Roman Reigns, the Usos, Sami Zayn, Sami Uso, and CM Punk with Paul Heyman in the corner. I think this match is probably going to be the the aura match. Like I'm doing the exclamation marks, but it's going to be awesome. But it's not going to be awesome like in ring wise. Probably story wise, it's going to be really good. I think what's going to happen is that I think the entry points of the war games, who enters first, who enters last, will be very important. I'm not going to go into much into that because that's very technical stuff. I'm not thought that much about that. I think the I think Bronson is I think to protect Bronson, they're probably gonna have Seth attack because there are layers to this feud. Like Seth refused to partner with the OG bloodline because he hates Roman. Like he gave in storyline reasons, he he gave his world title and he gave his body away just so Cody ends Roman's reign of tyranny at WrestleMania. He cannot just have like Bronson Reed attack me, so I will I guess I'll join you. I mean that doesn't happen. This is not Vince's era. Like that doesn't happen anymore. So I think that's good. But what did happen is Paul Heyman called in a favor, and CM Punk is now the fifth member. I think they are going to replay that June segment which happened where the new bloodline confronted CM Punk, and it was like Paul Heyman wanted to go with CM Punk and all, and they're going to show why they have this connection, they have had this interaction before, why Punk has agreed to be with Heyman. I think they're going to explain it on this SmackDown. They're going to replay that promo package. I think it's going to be really great because Seth is going to be involved in the match, and I think he will probably take out Reed, and I think he'll probably attack all three. He'll probably attack Bronson, taking him out of the match. It will protect Bronson as well because he'll probably not get pinned, and that will continue Bronson and Seth Rollins feud, which will probably end at Saturday night's main event. And then probably CM Punk will stomp Roman Reigns as well. No, Seth Rollins will stomp Roman Reigns as well because he said the next time he will be in the ring, that will be to stomp Roman Reigns, and I think that will lead to CM Punk saying, "Hey, why did you stomp my partner's head?" And Seth will be like, "I hate them and I hate you," and they will brawl, and I think that will lead to the finish. I don't see the new bloodline winning. Well, that can be interesting because Seth will be involved in the finish anyways, I think going from Seth being involved in the finish with the OG bloodline winning, I think that's very difficult to book. But then I'm not a booker. I'm just, you know, predicting stuff. So I see, I think the OG bloodline will win. The new bloodline winning will can be, better for them also, but they have got their win. Like they defeated Roman Reigns and the Usos at Crown Jewel with Solo pinning him. So I don't mind, and I think this time it will matter the guy pinning and the guy getting pinned. I think they will matter a lot to the story going forward after Survivor Series, because I think that will lead into and how they get into that position. Will The Rock get involved? But then The Rock, when he came back at Bad Blood, you saw the mic pick up that Roman Reigns told Cody that he's there for you, not for me. So will you have The Rock get involved in this and be involved in the finish, or there must be something? I think also that there will be some kind of segment involving Cody and Kevin, because now it's announced that they're going to have a match at Saturday night's main event. They are main eventing the show. They're gonna have a segment there. I think I will suggest probably a contract signing or something. I think that would be really good. You know, yeah, that will be awesome. Actually, they had like one of the best promo segments all year. I think that is the segment I'll probably recommend to people, you know, who don't watch wrestling, and I think they will probably get hyped after watching that. I think that and the Drew Punk promo that they had the week before the Hell in a Cell match will be the promos that I'll recommend any non-wrestling fan to watch. And but my prediction is the OG Bloodline winning the final match. So that's my predictions for the War Games. This is my first, like you can say, the first video was introductory. Introducing, you know, talking about what my channel is about and what everything is about. But I hope if if you liked if you like my content, please like the video, share, subscribe, turn on the notifications. If you don't like my content, you can suggest me how to improve myself, how I make videos, how I speak about things that I need to add. Or if you don't like wrestling at all, you can recommend the video to your friends or family who do like wrestling. And and I just I I just hope that I get the I I've just started this is just my first video, so please give me time. But I will appreciate you giving any kind of suggestions in the comments. We can chat about wrestling, we can chat about videos, we can chat about anything related to the content of my channel. You can give me suggestions. uh, Thank you. Goodbye. Have a good night, good day, good evening, whatever. you know Alvida.